For more than 1,000 years, the city of Constantinople stood as the jewel of the Byzantine Empire. Built by Emperor Constantine the Great in 330 CE, it was the heir to Rome, a city of golden domes, mighty walls, and Christian faith. For centuries, its massive fortifications repelled invaders, earning it the title, the City of the World's Desire. But on May 29, 1453, all of that came to an end. The last emperor fought to the death in its streets, and the Eastern Roman Empire, the last remnant of ancient Rome, was extinguished forever. The fall of Constantinople was not just the collapse of a city. It was the end of an era, the death of the Middle Ages, and the spark that reshaped the course of global history. By the 15th century, Constantinople was a shadow of its former glory. Once a thriving metropolis of 500,000 people, its population had dwindled to less than 50,000. The Byzantine Empire itself was reduced to the city and a handful of outlying territories. Surrounded by Ottoman lands, Constantinople stood like an isolated island in a sea of enemies. Its walls were legendary, triple fortifications stretching nearly 14 miles around the city. But its strength lay in reputation more than reality. To the east, a new power was rising. The Ottoman Turks, under their young and ambitious Sultan Mehmed II, dreamed of conquering Constantinople. At only 21 years old, Mehmed was determined to succeed where others had failed. He saw the city not only as a prize of conquest, but as the key to empire. Whoever held Constantinople would control trade between Europe and Asia, dominate the Eastern Mediterranean, and claim the legacy of Rome itself. In April 1453, Mehmed's massive army arrived at the gates. Historians estimate between 80,000 and 100,000 soldiers, janissaries, cavalry, siege engineers, and auxiliaries. Against them, Emperor Constantine XI could muster perhaps 7,000 defenders, including a few hundred foreign mercenaries. It was a desperate mismatch, but the Byzantines hoped their walls, the strongest in the medieval world, would hold. Mehmed had an answer: cannons. The Ottomans brought with them enormous bombards, designed by a Hungarian engineer named Orban. These cannons were capable of hurling stone balls weighing hundreds of pounds, powerful enough to shatter even ancient fortifications. Day after day, the guns roared, shaking the ground and hammering the walls of Constantinople. For 6 weeks, the city trembled under the thunder of artillery, the sound of a new age of warfare. But the defenders did not give up. Emperor Constantine XI, the last Byzantine ruler, fought alongside his people. Priests led processions through the streets, carrying holy relics and praying for deliverance. Citizens repaired the walls each night under fire, patching holes with rubble, barrels, and timber. They believed the Virgin Mary herself would protect the city, as she had in sieges past. Mehmed's strategy was relentless. When his fleet could not penetrate the chain boom blocking the harbor, he did the unthinkable. He ordered ships dragged over land on greased logs, bypassing the barrier and shocking the defenders. Now the Ottomans controlled both land and sea. Constantinople was cut off completely, and hope of outside rescue faded. On May 28th, the eve of the final assault, the city held one last great procession. Emperor Constantine walked barefoot through the Hagia Sophia, the great cathedral of Byzantium, alongside nobles, soldiers, and citizens. Enemies and allies, Greeks and Latins, all gathered in one final prayer, setting aside their divisions. It was the last liturgy ever held in the Hagia Sophia as a Christian church. At dawn on May 29th, the Ottomans attacked. Waves of soldiers crashed against the battered walls. The first assaults were repelled, but Mehmed's forces were relentless. After hours of brutal fighting, a breach was opened near the gate of St. Romanus. Ottoman janissaries surged through. In the chaos, Emperor Constantine V is said to have thrown off his imperial regalia and charged into the fray, fighting as a common soldier. He was never seen again. His body was later found among the dead, the last emperor of Rome cut down in the ruins of his capital. The city fell. For 3 days, Constantinople was given over to looting and destruction. The Hagia Sophia was converted into a mosque. Survivors were enslaved or executed. The Byzantine Empire, which had endured for over 1,000 years after the fall of Rome, was gone. The consequences were immense. With Constantinople in Ottoman hands, Christian Europe lost its primary access to Asian trade routes. Merchants and explorers looked for new paths to the east, voyages that would lead to the discovery of the Americas and the beginning of global empires. The fall of Constantinople was not just the end of Byzantium, it was the beginning of the modern world. For the Ottomans, the victory was a triumph. Mehmed II entered the city as conqueror, earning the title Mehmed the Conqueror. He made Constantinople his capital, transforming it into Istanbul, the heart of an empire that would endure for centuries. The Hagia Sophia, once a symbol of Byzantine Christianity, became a mosque, a symbol of Ottoman power. For Europe, the loss of Constantinople was a shockwave. The last vestige of the Roman Empire was gone, replaced by a Muslim power that would dominate southeastern Europe for generations. The dream of a united Christendom, protected by the walls of Constantinople, had died with Constantine XI. And yet, the city lived on. Though its conquerors changed its name and its faith, its spirit endured. Istanbul became a bridge between East and West, a crossroads of cultures and one of the most important cities in the world. The fall of Constantinople is a story of courage and tragedy, of ambition and destiny. It marks the moment the medieval world gave way to the modern age. On that May morning in 1453, the last remnants of ancient Rome fell to cannon fire, and a new chapter in world history began. Even today, the echoes of that day linger. The broken walls still stand. The Hagia Sophia still towers over the city, and the memory of Emperor Constantine XI, dying sword in hand, reminds us that even the mightiest empires must one day fall.